next lesson, lesson 3, multiplying radicals. Pretty much what you guys did in the questions. So what we do is we multiply the coefficients and the radicands together, only if the index is the same. Okay, so multiplying property is when your index is the same, you can do a times b and then m times n if the coefficient and the coefficients as well. So let's do a few questions. 4 times 2 is 8, 3 times 7 is 21. The index was the same, right? Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20, 3 times 2 is 6, and then a times b is ab. Okay, pretty simple. Try part B and we'll discuss it right now. Okay, should we discuss? So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, 2 times 6 is 12, x times x is x squared. Now you need to ask yourself, can I simplify this? What do you guys think?
You could make it 4x squared.
3 times 4, x squared. Right? Now 4 is a perfect square and x squared is also a perfect square. So when I do square root of 4, it's going to be 2 outside. So negative 12 times 2, x squared will be just x, root 3. 12 times 2 is negative 24x, root 3. And that's your answer. Make sure you always simplify it. Again, a reminder, whenever k, i.e. your index, is even, a and b, the radicands will be greater than equal to 0. Because they cannot be negative number. We cannot do square root of a negative number. Okay? Questions? Let's say we're multiplying monomials with binomials. So when it came to polynomial, we just use distributive property, right? So 3a squared times 2a will be 6a squared times a will be a squared times a is
3a, or a cubed.
A cubed. Same thing over here. Distribute it, you get negative 12, 3 times 4 is 12, a squared b. Okay, do the same thing here when it comes to radical. 3 times 2 is 6, root 6 times root 6 is root 36. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 6 times 2 is 12. Can we reduce this?
The 12 could be 3 and 4.
12 can be...
36 is just 6.
Yeah, 36 is just 6, so 6 times 6. And 12 can be 3 and 4, which is 4 is a perfect square. We factor it out, or we do the radical here. So 36 minus 12 times 2, not 4. You need to perform the function, right? So it'll be 24 root 3. Okay, and that's your answer. Let's do binomial onto binomial multiplication now. So we use distributive property again. A times a is a squared, a times b is ab, negative 2b times a is negative 2ab, negative 2b squared. Okay, these are my like terms, so I can simplify that. A squared minus ab minus 2b squared. Do you remember the FOIL method?
What?
FOIL method.
Is there like letters for that acronym?
No, it's just FOIL. FOIL method. No. That's how people, like, that's what they use to
Oh,
solve
I
this.
thought that's just multiply
Yeah.
everything by everything.
It's called the FOIL method. Okay, so we do the same thing over here. Okay, so root 3 times root 3 is just 3, right? We kind of looked at this. Whenever you have root 6 times root 6, it'll be root 36, which is a perfect square and be equal to 6. Same thing for 9. Root 9 times root 9 is 81, which is just 9. So the shortcut is that if you have root 3 times root 3, it'll just be equal to 3. If the radicand and the index is the same. So you can use the shortcut. We can also use the shortcut when we're cubing it. So if you have 3 radicals that are the same and there is a index of 3, you can just write 2 as your answer. Okay? Any questions about the shortcut?
No.
Okay. And then you have 3. Root 3 times root 6 is root 18. Over here as well, negative 2. 3 times 6 is 18. Negative 2. And can I use my shortcut now? What will I get? Root 6 times root 6.
Negative 12 in total.
Root 6 times root 6 will be?
6.
And will be negative 12. So we have 3 plus like terms, like radicals like terms, it'll be negative root 18 minus 12. 3 times negative 12 is negative 9 minus root 18. Can I simplify this further? Yeah. What can I break 18 into? 9 and 2. Perform the function on 9, it'll be 3 root 2. Okay. Questions? Okay, let's do a few more questions. So we're going to multiply this. We're doing distributive property. 9 times 1 is just 9. My index is the same. 2 times 4 is 8. W times W is W squared. Do the same thing over here. 9 times 7 is 63. Index of 3. 2 times 28 is 56. And W follows. Okay. Now I need to simplify this. 8 can be broken down into 4 and 2, right? So I'll write 9, 4. Actually, 8 is a perfect cube, so I can just take it out, which will just be 2, and then I have cube root of W squared. 56. My factors can be 8 and 7. I can factor out the 8 again, which will give me 63 times 2 cube root of 7W. 63 times 2 is 126. 7W cubed, and then 9 times 2 is 18, and that's your final answer. The reason why you always want to simplify is because what if there are like terms and you can add it, right? You would know that only once you've simplified. Questions? Okay, let's do the next.
I do have one question. If you're trying to take out like x2, but it's a cube root, you can't?
You cannot. Because you cannot break it down into two different factors or numbers, right?
So, but could you take out say it was like 8. Could you take out, it was 8, or the cube root of 8 n2 or x2? Could you take that?
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
No,
yeah.
No, like I mean like 8x2. Like it's like, can you take that 8 out?
Yeah, yeah, you can. So it'll be 2 cubed x squared. Okay, let's do this question now. So, because it's squared, just write it as 2 root 2 minus 3 root 10 times 2 root 2 minus 3 root 10. And now you'll just use the FOIL method. So 2 times 2 is 4. Root 2 times root 2 is just 2, right? The shortcut that we did. This 2 times negative 3 is 6. 2 times 10 is 20. Follow this. Negative 6. 10 times 2 is 20 again. Next one. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Root 10 times 10, use the shortcut, which is just 10. Okay, now 4 times 2 is 8 minus 20 can be written as 4 times 5, right? So I can factor the 4 because it's a perfect square. So it'll be 6 times 2 root 5. Same thing over here. 6 times 2 root 5 plus 90. Make sense? Any questions so far? Okay, so you have 8 plus 90, which is 98, minus 12 root 5 minus 12 root 5, which is just 98 minus 24 root 5. You could have added these initially and then factored it. Either way, you would get the same answer. Like you could have just done 8 minus 12 root 20 plus 90 over here, or this, and then you could factor this out 4 times 5, and then take the perfect square out, so it'll be 98 minus 24 root 5. Like you could have either added the like terms over here or simplified it and then added it. Okay, that's it. Try these questions. I want you guys to try at least question C and D. Or let's do D because we have 5 minutes. Try question D.